Hey guys, in the last episode I said I was just gonna go over what the skills here do. I'm not really gonna do anything. This is more just like a skills information episode. In my next episode though, I was planning on having a guest star. Someone just asked in the comments if they could guest star. I figured why not. Their YouTube name is Legend of Zelda Fan 231, so I'm probably gonna have them guest starring in my next episode. But for now, I'm just gonna go over the skills you can get here. For the magic type, mana arrow you should already have. Invincible casting you should get because it will stop your casting line from being interrupted if you're hit by an enemy. Cure you definitely want to get. It may not be helpful now because it heals based on a percentage of your maximum HP, but later in the game that can be very helpful. Bottle of Mana, it's a prerequisite for something else. If you want to, all it does is just raise your MP. I really wouldn't recommend getting it for any other purpose than the prerequisite for the other skill. Just keep it at level 1 if you want to learn it, because that's all you need it at, and you don't want to waste TUM points. Mana rank, definitely do not get. It'll start off stronger than your mana arrow, but over time it really doesn't get that much stronger. It'll stay at a pretty weak damage range, so it can end up like really not being good, so I wouldn't recommend getting it. Mana web, let's see. Yeah, that just lowers the enemy's speed, their attacking speed. Really, it's not helpful. Enemies later, really that's not gonna help. Rust, it will lower their attack power, but not by, it's based on a percentage of it. It really doesn't help all too much, when you're fighting power types, because mages are distance attackers, and if you're gonna use attacking from a distance, there's really no point in lowering their attack because they can't really do anything to you. Mana shield, Aura of Mana, it just speeds up everyone in your party's MP recovery rate. It'll just make their MP refill faster. I really wouldn't recommend it because that's what potions are for. It's not really gonna help, and plus if you're in a party with people who aren't mages, then that's really not gonna help a lot, because mages are the only one who use a lot of MP, so I wouldn't recommend Aura of Mana. Mana shield can actually be helpful later in the game. I wouldn't recommend getting it right when you get to TM level 30, but it can help later when you're fighting enemies that actually have magic-based attacks. Mana Storm, it depends, it hits an area of enemies, and if you get it up to level 10, it can actually do some pretty good damage. The only drawback it has is it has a long recharge time. So, but if you want to learn it, that's your choice. It does use a lot of TM points to get it up to level 10. So, if you want to save your TM points, then you don't have to learn it, but it can be pretty helpful for level grinding. So, I wouldn't hesitate to do that. Mist of Mana, it raises your magic attack based on a percentage, and that can help a lot, trust me. But you need to have Bottle of Mana at least level 1, so that's what I was saying before. Let's see, Arrow Rush, that most people don't learn that until their second job, because you automatically get boosted to TM level 50. But learn an Arrow Rush up to like level 8 or 9, because it makes you shoot more mana arrows. They're slightly weaker than shooting one regular mana arrow like you would now, but it shoots multiple arrows, and it does more damage if you have Mana Storm or if the enemy is weak to magic based attacks, so that can really end up being helpful. and doing a lot of damage. Mana Ring Booster, it just boosts the power of Mana Rings. I really wouldn't recommend it because still Mana Rings really aren't that good. For power types here, let's see. For power types here, Shockwave, I said you should learn. It's based off of a percentage of your attack power. Bullseye, it raises your accuracy. I would learn it up to like level 5 or something because it can be helpful later if you're missing a lot. But that shouldn't happen too often, so I wouldn't like necessarily recommend it, but you can if you want. Burning Rave, it's slightly weaker than Shockwave, but it has a much faster recharge time and it uses much less MP. So like what you can do is use Shockwave and then spam Burning Rave while you're waiting for Shockwave recharge time to fill back up. Sense Breaker, it lowers, let's see, their I think that's their DA. Yeah, that's their DA. And you know, that's the only way you would take damage from DA is like thrown items, so that's really a useless skill because enemies can't throw items. Luck Breaker, that would just lower their critical hit rate, which really, that's not going to help you too much, so I wouldn't learn that either. Pumping Heart is very helpful though. It raises everyone in your party's attack power by a percentage of their base attack power. And that becomes very helpful the higher level you get because you'll have more attack power. Armor Breaker, it lowers the enemy's defense. It can be helpful if you're trying to go to like higher level areas and, you know, like level grind there by fighting enemies that are stronger than you are. You can lower their defense and kill them faster, so that can be helpful. Upper Smash, I've never really tried. It looks like it's pretty strong, but I saw a friend use it one time. It's not too good. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Hyper Beat, see how it says agility up -1? That means it's going to lower your dexterity. But the lower your dexterity is, the faster your regular attack is. But I wouldn't recommend it because I don't think it lowers it by more when you level it up. I think it just makes it last longer. And then Tornado Bomb, trust me, don't learn that. It'll deliver multiple hits at first, but it ends up being very weak later. Probably gonna have to split this into 2 episodes, so it's just gonna be two tutorial episodes.